I was excited to be asked to come and do a story about fashion because I like fashion a lot, but I was never like a fashionista or anything like that. And so it was really cool to think about, how does fashion affect my life and what does it mean to me? And so I had to go like way back to when I was a kid, when fashion is just not a part of anything, right? And so when I was a kid, fashion, like I remember going into my mom's closet and like seeing all of her stuff, and it was all like gray and black and white, and she was very corporate and everything that she had, and just wandering through her stuff. And the only thing I ever wanted to wear of my mom's was this dress she never wore that my dad bought for her, that was like a slinky red dress and had all these tassels with beads on the end, and it was super slutty, and I was like, this is the best thing in the world. She's like, no, tuck that in the back, But when I was a kid, I never, you never got to choose what you wanted to wear. I hated thinking about what I wanted to wear and stuff like that. So my parents always chose what I had to wear that day. And I remember my mom laying out like cute dresses for me and leotards to match and shoes and everything, and just hating it. So I would like take the pants or the leotards off and wear them on my head and like run around showing my underwear and stuff. And fashion was not a part of my life when I was a kid. We got a lot of hand-me-downs when we were kids, so I remember, this is just like all the things that you used to wear in like your class photos, but this one pelican hoodie that my dad brought back for me on his trip to New Brunswick, and it was like the warmest hoodie you could ever have, and I lived in Winnipeg, so I was like, this is the best piece of clothing anyone could ever have, and I wore it every single day to school, like every day, Monday through Friday, and I washed it on the weekends, and I started again on Monday, and wore it every day. And I wore different like pants or different like shirts underneath, but to everybody else in my grade, they're like, ew, that's that disgusting girl who wears the pelican shirt every single day. And I didn't even care. I was like, I had no clue what fashion, like what it meant, what it was about. I never really paid attention to it. And I remember my favorite sweater I ever had in Winnipeg was when I was a kid, we had someone dropped off a garbage bag full of clothes on our front step. And my dad was super like mortified and embarrassed because they were like, oh, they think that we don't have enough money for clothes. And I was super pumped because I was like, free clothes, And we opened it up and I pulled out this knitted sweater. And oh man, my fashion was just wearing the same thing every day because I got rid of the pelican shirt and I started wearing this knitted sweater that was forest green and had like a red trim on the bottom and a red trim on the top. And it was super warm, and it was super cool because it had a picture of a train on it. And then above it, knitted in, said, Le Train. And I was like, who would give this away? This is the best sweater in the world. And I literally got rid of my pelican sweater and wore this every day for the rest of the school year. It was amazing. And it wasn't until I moved from one school to another. I used to live in like a really poor area in Winnipeg. I went to a school like in the hood where in grade 2 I remember skipping class because I told my teachers I had to go practice with my band. And I was in grade 2, so I don't know why they let me do that. They did not care at all. But I moved to Darwin, and it was like the cool school with like all the good teachers and in the good area with that playground that didn't have like sharp nails coming out of it and stuff. And I made all these new friends, and everyone had like a totally different kind of fashion sense and stuff like that, and music sense, and it was just a totally different lifestyle from where I had come. And I remember I was so pumped to be at Darwin because they did fundraisers, and so every year you would sell things for your school to raise money, and they had these dope prizes for the person who won the whole thing. So I showed up, and it was grade 5, I think, and I was a new girl at school, and they had this wrapping paper fundraiser. So you had to sell wrapping paper like to all of your family, and then you won a prize if you were the top seller. And I remember I like sold so much I sold wrapping paper like it was like meth. Like I was just like hustling. Like what you're gonna wrap it in that? Really? Well, look at this great paper. You can upgrade like ribbons and like all kinds of tags, like everything. I sold so much wrapping paper, and I was like I came in as the new girl, and then I like was the coolest because I sold all this wrapping paper, and you got to win a prize, and mine was tickets to the Tragically Hip concert. And like at the time I didn't know who the Tragically Hip were, and I was just like I didn't go to concerts. I wasn't like a cool kid, right? Like I wore a sweater that had a train on it, like so I sold the tickets to Jen Mazer for like $2 more than they were worth, whatever. And I got the $35 that the tickets were worth And I remember I had been walking past Mark's Work warehouse every day. And it was cool back then, trust me, in Winnipeg. But like, I used to walk past there all the time, and they had like the window displays, and they had this one pair of red jeans that were like, Aisha, you know? Like, they wanted me to wear them. And so I took my $35 and I went to Mark's Work warehouse, and I bought, for the first time in my life, I bought my own piece of fashion. Like, it wasn't just clothes to cover my body, it was something I chose to put on my body that I was anticipating and excited about. And like, they were just like the best. They were bright red, and they had a button fly. Like, it was more work. Like, you knew you wanted to put those jeans on, you know? They had a button fly, and they were like baggy in the bum, but tight at the ankle. They were like the perfect amount of taper. Like, they were like a really cool pair of like RCMP formal pants, you know? Like before Pharrell brought the hat back, but like it was cool. They were so cool, and I just remember like, I wore them to school the next day, and everyone's like, ooh, like red jeans. Like, I was the talk of the town. And I wore them, again, every single day, because that's what you do with fashion that you like, right? Every single day until they started to like fade and get holes, and like the hems on the bottom were ripping, and I was just like, these are the coolest. I'm gonna wear them until they're just like a pair of panties, you know? Like, they're the best. And then I met up with my friend Choma, who was a couple years older than me, and she was on a TV show, a local TV show where kids danced and sang, so pretty much the coolest. And she had a pair of green jeans that at the bottom, she had found another pair of like denim and like ripped it off and sewed it on the inside of her jeans, so it just like was sticking out at the bottom and like kind of frayed. And I was just like, Choma, what is going on with your pants? And she's like, oh, I did this myself. Like, it's the double hem. And I was like, why? But why? Like, what's the purpose for it? And she's like, because it looks fucking cool. And I was like, yeah, it does. Like, that's the cool, like, it was just like, it blew my mind that there's like, there's no purpose sometimes for things that look good. You just have to do it, and it's like wicked. And Choma didn't even go to my school, so I like went home immediately. Had to be the first in my school to do this. I already had the best jeans in school. Went home immediately, ripped up a pair of old jeans, and sat there with like a needle and thread, and like all night like sewed white denim into my red jeans at the bottom. Showed up at school the next day, and the same thing, kids were like, whoa, what is going on with your pants? And I was like, I know, thought of it myself. Like, just like, you know, walking around. But it was cool because it was like the first time, like I bought those jeans on my own, and then I altered them on my own. Like, my parents, I don't know why they let me use like needles and thread when I was very young. That was kind of weird. But like, they just like let me be creative and do what I wanted to do. And like since then, like now my fashion consists of a lot of different things, like secondhand shops, like comfortable, you know, sweatpants and things like that, or like those pieces that are just like beautiful and important and amazing, and you just have to have them. But literally, I think that these red jeans, and I call them like the red peekaboo jeans, because that's what I coined them as, because afterwards everyone was wanting a pair of peekaboo jeans. Because they just had a little bit of something extra at the bottom, like peeking through. You know, a little peekaboo at the bottom for no good reason other than because it's cool. But it made me it made me realize when I was thinking about fashion and things like this that, like, it's cool. It has shaped me and who I am, because the red jeans were something that I anticipated and wanted, and I went out there and I was independent and I bought them with my own money, and I had to, you know, I hustled wrapping paper to buy a pair of jeans. It's a good life lesson, you know what I mean? I was an entrepreneur in grade 5. It was cool. But then also, like, something that you think is amazing can be made even better by just making it unique or different or taking the time to invest in it. And I think that fashion is an extra. I think it is. But I think it's an extra in the way that, like, self-improvement is an extra, or, like, gourmet food is an extra, or entertainment is an extra, in that it's extra and beyond, like, the basic food, shelter, water kind of thing, but it's important and it's relevant, and it can shape a person in a really cool way that's more than just a superficial way. So that's my story of my red peekaboo jeans that made me who I am today, you know? Thank you guys so much.